eat less, move more to lose weight. That's wrong. If you eat less, you weigh less. Simple math, right? Except if that were the whole story, none of us would still be here restarting for the 10th time. Today, I want to actually show you why eat less backfires for so many of us and what your body needs instead. Not another rule, the actual mechanism underneath it. You're listening to the Set Point Science podcast, the show where we take midlife weight and appetite apart, the real mechanics, not the just motivation stuff, so weight loss finally feels sustainable instead of like a second job. I'm your host, Cheri Alberts, and on today's episode, Open Cart Week continues. So we're getting into why eating less usually backfires and what storage mode versus release mode actually means for whether your body finally lets go of the weight. First of all, I'm so excited. The cart is officially open, so you can join Set Point Restore right now this week. It's my coaching membership. You can only join this week. It's going to close down again on Friday, July 31st. It won't reopen again until October. So I want to use today to actually explain something instead of just telling you to join. So here's the claim that I made on Monday on my live video. I said, weight loss doesn't actually start with eating less. Today, I want to walk through why that's true, because I think if you actually get the mechanism underneath it all, the rest of it is going to make way more sense. So here's the problem with that just eat less, move more logic. Telling someone who's stuck in a cycle of overeating to just eat less is a little bit like telling someone with chronic anxiety to just relax and stop worrying so much. It sounds reasonable if you don't have anxiety, right? But it's not actually addressing what's happening underneath. Because here's what eating less actually does over time. If you push it too far and hold it too long, it creates instability. Your body starts treating food like it might not show up again. And this instability doesn't just sit there quietly in your body. It shows up later as cravings, grazing, emotional eating, all this kind of stuff that you can't quite explain or stop. Like a night where you just lost control out of nowhere, except it's not nowhere. It's downstream of every meal that you skipped or shrunk earlier that week. So I want you to think about this like two states that your body can be in. I call them storage mode and release mode. And I want to be clear, this isn't like some official medical thing. It's just my own shorthand for this real phenomenon that we experience. So storage mode is what happens when your body doesn't feel safe enough in a way to let anything go. Stress is high, sleep is short, maybe you've been under eating or eating inconsistently, trying different diets, stopping different diets. Your cravings, your food noise are super loud. It's like that constant negotiating, planning, should I or shouldn't I sort of static that's going on in your head. Your body isn't being difficult on purpose in that state. It's responding to instability the only way that it knows how, by holding on to weight. Now, release mode is the opposite. It comes from times where your eating is steady, your movement is realistic instead of punishing, and the day-to-day rhythm of your life is consistent enough that your body isn't bracing for the next disruption. And I want to be clear, I don't mean stress or things going on in your life. I mean the way that you eat is consistent enough. So that's where fat loss actually becomes more possible. Not because you tried harder or pushed harder, but because your system stopped needing to defend itself from instability. So when I say eating less backfires, this is what I mean specifically. It keeps you in storage mode. It's the exact thing that creates the instability that your body is reacting to. I'm going to take a minute and tell you about a member inside Restore right now. So I'm going to change her name to keep her totally anonymous. And here's what happened. She'd had a moment where she ate something that she hadn't planned to, the kind of thing that used to send her spiraling into weeks of overeating. Instead, this time, she caught that shame spiral before it started. She didn't add a layer of, oh, I ruined it on top of what happened. And the overeating just stopped. It was one event. She moved on with her day. That's the part that surprised her. And it surprised me a little bit too, hearing her describe it. Because the fear that a lot of us have is that if you stop punishing yourself or stop doing things in a really strict way, that you're just going to keep spiraling. But what actually happened was the opposite. The shame that she was carrying about what happened had actually been extending the spiral, not preventing it. So I want to be really clear about something though, because I don't want this to land as, oh, just eat whatever, don't have a plan. Eating enough is not the same as eating without limits. That's an important distinction. It's not permission to eat without structure. It's permission to stop treating hunger and restriction as the strategy. There's still a plan that we're using. It's just built around a steady baseline instead of a deficit that you're white-knuckling through in tough times or even in easy times. And then that's actually the second story I want to tell you. So another Restore member came in with real physical limitations. Mobility was a genuine issue for her, and she'd already worn herself out trying this strict meal delivery program that technically checked every nutritional box but didn't taste that great. What actually worked wasn't a stricter version of that or just be more disciplined, right? It was building something that worked around her actual life. Food that she could enjoy, prepared in a way that didn't take over her whole day, that still moved her towards what she wanted. Not this theoretical perfect plan, the one that fit the life that she was actually living right now. And that's the whole difference right there. Perfect and sustainable are not the same thing. And chasing the first one is usually what wrecks the second. It's not perfect if it doesn't fit your life. And actually, I had my own little breakthrough this week, and I want to share it with you. So I realized that I was still stuck in this old diet mentality, in this sort of subconscious way of skip dinner whenever you can. What I realized I needed was actually the opposite. It wasn't eating less, it was eating 3 solid meals. It sounds counterintuitive, but eat enough, not less. And that was weird for me after years of thinking that less was the way. And I feel like I was being a bit stubborn in my subconscious for not realizing this earlier because I needed to take my own advice, you know? I didn't even realize I was doing that. And so for me, this looks like eating 3 meals, especially the 5 or 6 o'clock one, and not worrying so much about the timing anymore. It doesn't have to be 3 for you. It could just be 2 bigger ones, just whatever it takes to make sure that you're not sitting in some massive stretch of hungry for hours. And for me, what I found from starting to do this 3 meals a day on purpose thing is that it created so much more calm and stability in the evening time, and even a sort of sense of relief earlier in the day, knowing that I wasn't going to have a stretch of pushing every day, or even some days. And I noticed the scale go down while I was doing this too, because I didn't have any rebound from being really hungry. Because that's what keeps your body in storage mode in the first place, is when your body doesn't know when that next real meal is coming, and when things are pushing, forceful, and just wonky around your eating. So here's where that leaves us. Eating less doesn't build trust with your body. Eating enough consistently with real structure around it does. That's not a hack. It's just what actually changes the volume on all of it. The cravings, the food spirals, the noise. Eating enough allows you to then have a small deficit that doesn't feel impossible to maintain. If this is a pattern that you recognize in yourself, this is exactly the kind of work that we do inside of Set Point Restore. We look at your actual eating, your actual life, and all the places where the cycle keeps restarting, so you can build something steady enough to repeat forever. Here's exactly what's waiting for you inside of Restore. It's an ongoing monthly membership, and you can cancel anytime. You're not locked in, but your rate stays locked in for as long as you stay a member. And what we do in there, you get the Enough First course, which teaches you all of these principles. It's delivered in live recordings right now, and it's growing into its full 4-module version as we go. So you're in there, and it's going to be built while you're in there. I do 2 live coaching calls per month. I'm the coach on there, and those are both recorded if you can't make them live. And if you've ever been in a coaching membership before, you know that watching someone else get coached is practically the same thing as you, because we all have similar issues and we can see ourselves in all the things that come up. You also get access to a private community of just Restore members. I call it the Haven. It's our little private community, and it's for the days when you need people who actually get it and you can see what they're going through and you can learn from each other. There's also something that I want you to know about for this particular week. I put together 4 short PDFs, like about what we talked about today, storage mode versus release mode. That's actually one of them with more detail. And I've done a few other ones that I've never published anywhere before. And I'm putting all these together as a fast action bonus for anyone who joins during the first 3 days of Open Cart Week. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That bonus is going to be going away on Wednesday night of the launch, July 29 at 9 p.m. Mountain. So after that, that bonus is gone. So if you've been on the fence to join, that's your actual deadline. You can read the full details about Restore and join now at setpointscience.com/restore. Either way, I hope this episode actually explains something real that maybe you saw in yourself. Come join us this week and Restore. I'll see you in the next episode.